Welcome to another episode of Business Fumbles. This week, actually, I'm going to be starting our intro this morning. There's a special reason for it. Before we go into the reason, I'm actually going to be assisted by Miss Shay this morning.
Yes.
And actually, could you give us a little introduction to yourself, Shay?
Sure. I am Shayna Phillips, and I've been working with Sheila for a while because I have my own business. It's called SJP Consulting Me, and I do administrative services, and I also design websites, which I love so much. And I've been helping Miss Sheila with all of her book endeavors. Like even her last book, I helped her design the cover, and I had some input on this new book here, Business Fumbles. So,
and that's the real reason why Sheila's not in the host seat today. We're actually going to be interviewing her about her book this morning. So, welcome, Sheila. How's it feel being in the other seat?
It feels a little strange, but happy. Yeah.
All right, no pressure. It's all good. Well, I guess we can go ahead and get started then. Ms. Shay, if you want to start, I know you had some questions you were going to ask about the book.
Yes, I did. So Business Fumbles is not just a podcast, it's a book. So explain your book in one sentence.
Well, I don't know if I can actually do it in one sentence, but in the journey of me writing my first book, that was more about my experience and my burnouts and the different things that I was experiencing. And then as me being an accountant and working with a lot of different businesses, I started to notice that they were experiencing a lot of the things that I experienced.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just something that happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
It was something that, happened constantly, And so with that being said, I started the book Business Fumbles because I wanted to tell, everybody's story and give something for entrepreneurs to read and not feel so excluded or alone because they're facing those issues. And that was the reason why I started the podcast to give people an opportunity to come and sit on the couch and vent and tell about all of the things that they're experiencing, and it'll help the up and coming entrepreneurs. That's how Business Fumbles started.
You created that platform for them to
come and
vent
and tell their stories so that other people can see that they're not alone because this is a part of being an entrepreneur. That's all it is.
No,
it is.
Yep.
I love that.
So why this book and why now? Like what problem does it solve?
Well, the book is something that is needed. If you looked at other episodes of Business Fumble, I always talk about educating and being open and putting things out there in order for other people to, learn from it or understand it. Business Fumbles is a book that was put together with all different type of situations, all different types of businesses, and the things that they experience, things that they didn't know. Yeah. That saying is like, it would have been different if I known.
Yeah,
well,
for sure.
That's what Business Fumbles is. It's the known. Now, So maybe some of the mistakes that we or other entrepreneurs made, you won't make those same mistakes. And also, Business Fumbles, it opens up that conversation. It opens it up because I'm putting all of these stories in one book, and maybe it will, open other entrepreneurs to do the same, to tell their stories, to write it down, giving a map for other up and coming entrepreneurs coming out there, because nobody has all of the answers, but some answers are good for every situation.
Yes.
Yeah, for
Yes,
sure.
I agree.
No, I love that.
I love the fact that, like, when I read the book, I was reading about a few stories, and I was like, wow, I could have done things different. And just like in football, I could have taken different routes to be successful and, you know, not make those mistakes. So it really helps others so they can say, oh, well, she did this. I'm not going to do that.
Right.
I'm going to take this route instead. So that really helps a lot.
Yeah. And I could say, just from my perspective, obviously I haven't read the book yet, but helping with Business Fumbles here on the podcast, I know you have plenty of stories that you can help others with and everything.
Yeah.
We have so many.
And some of the stories are from my podcast, but some of them are from clients. I have been in this field for over 30-something years. So there's old experiences that I thought about, that I brought out. And then I was just like, man, people are still doing the exact same thing. You know? And it's funny because Shay have been helping me with the book. And when she read it, she's like, I want my story in here, you know? So we had to pull it back in order for me to put her story in there, because there was so many things in her story alone that anyone that's reading this or listening to it, man, they can learn so much from it.
So much.
They can learn so much from it.
Yeah.
You know?
That brings me to this question, a little backstory. What was your first major business fumble that you witnessed or experienced?
My first one is, I think that my first business fumble for me was not understanding the finance part. And that's funny because I'm in the finance, you know,
industry.
Yeah. And
did you start in that, by the way, Sheila?
Pardon me?
Did you start in finance as well, like from the beginning? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I started accounting back when I was young and 20. I got I think my first degree was when I was only 21.
Wow.
And I'm 60 now. So. And so
you look good too, girl.
And working in that area, you know, a lot of people think that, you know, to be an accountant or a CPA or any of those, you're some type of a math genius. And that's not the case at all. But when I first started my business, you know, making money, I didn't match it with, you know, the expenses that I was creating, you know? And so I was like, oh yeah, I want that. I want IT. I want this, you know? And then when the numbers started to crunch, you know, I was like, okay, wait a minute. I didn't think this through. And then my busy time, I made so much money, but then I'm a giver. And being a giver, you know, you want to appreciate everybody around you. And I was like giving the staff meals and just doing everything, bonuses. Oh yeah, I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to do that for you. And then it hit me where when I got to the slow periods, I didn't have anything. So that was the biggest. I think that was the biggest, because even though I experienced that in my first year, believe it or not, I'm 10 years in, and this is my first year not experiencing that.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Wow.
10 years. And it took me, and I still made that mistake every single time.
Yeah.
And this is the first year that I actually got it.
Yeah.
You know, and I said, okay, I have to make changes, and I literally did it.
Wow.
And I see the difference.
Wow.
So that's why business fumbles is so important, because sometimes even when you know and you experience it, you still do the same dumb crap over and over and over. It's like crazy.
And that's my next question. Why do entrepreneurs repeat the same mistake? Like, when should they realize, like, okay, this is a pattern and I need to change it, you know?
Well, you won't realize it. And this is the God honest truth. You will not realize that it's a pattern until you really know yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like me, I'm a religious person.
Right.
So being a religious person, if you truly are religious, you really evaluate yourself a lot.
Yeah.
And so when you're evaluating yourself, you say, wait a minute, I done this. It's almost like when a person criticizes you.
Yeah.
Immediately you get offensive.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, you don't know me. You know, and then you're going to make a statement like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe a week or so go by and another person says the exact same thing to you.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, in most cases, 90% of the person on the second one will still be upset.
Yeah.
Because they'll say, you don't know me. But a person that's spiritually connected is going to say, wait a minute. That's the second person that done said the same exact thing.
Yeah.
So maybe it is an issue for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to be willing to put in the work and accept it.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the book, I talk about the different personalities within entrepreneurship. You know, you have procrastinators, you have overachievers, you have micromanagers.
Yeah.
All of that is in this book and it breaks it down.
Yeah.
And you can't change that behavior until you accept that you got a problem with that behavior.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
And that's the only time it's going to change. Now, I noticed that I was making the wrong mistakes with finances, but it didn't have anything to do with my personality. It was about who I was. I'm a giver. And it made me feel good. So I had to learn how to say, just because it feels good doesn't mean that it's going to help you in the long run.
Yeah.
You need to refocus and you can still give, but give another way so it doesn't hurt you in the long run.
Do you feel that
Yeah.
because it was a part of your personality to be this way, that's why it took so long to self-analyze and correct that kind of behavior? Because you mentioned like the fumble started a long time ago, but you didn't learn to get over it till just recently.
Yeah.
So do you feel that because it's kind of part of who you are, it's like there's a need as a business owner or entrepreneur to be self-analytical, to be a little self-critical?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And because it was a part of who I am, and that's why I devoted a whole chapter to knowing what personality type you are. Because if you know what personality type you are, it's easier for you to take those blows when someone admits it to you or they say this or that to you. It's easier for you to accept it because you have, accepted it and you self-evaluated yourself. But I think that the reason why I continue to do it because of the way it made me feel. We live in a society now that mental health is way up there.
Yeah.
And sometimes, when you are a business owner and everybody looks at you as the strong person. Oh, she got her stuff together. She does this. She does that. They put you in this box. They put you in this box and the box is no longer, feminine. It's masculine. In order for you to be successful and you doing so many things, they look at you as a woman, but they put you in a box that is something totally different.
Yeah.
And that's what my goal is now, is to take myself out of that box. I think this book is going to help too, because it shows the softer side. It shows the side that, hey, I hurt, they hurt, we all feel, but we also can take something from it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
My next question is these questions are like the hard truths. And I wanted to know, what's the most expensive fumble you've seen? What's the biggest mistake you've seen? Because we've seen some fumbles in football, and we've been like, how did he drop it?
Don't even get me started on the Super Bowl
Oh my
this year.
God, yes.
I know. So I think the biggest fumble that I have seen and I have experienced, number one, there is a story, I think it's the first story, about one of my clients that had a restaurant. Restaurant did very well, and they made changes. They grew pretty fast, but it was created out of passion.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't know the business side of it. So with them building and being successful in it, what happened was they never registered for sales taxes. And they ended up owing all of this money, and I had to help them get all of that done and then put them on a payment plan. And then another one is, when you're a business owner, you sign lease. Like I have a lease here.
Yeah.
And they feel like the lease is like them renting a house.
Yeah.
Commercial leases are totally different.
Yeah.
And you need to read them. So, thinking that, the air conditioner broke. Well, I'm going to call the landlord. Just to find out that, no, that's your responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
You have to fix those things. So those are some huge, costly fumbles.
Yeah.
But my book go into it and tell you the steps to take to avoid that. Know it. Because when I got my lease, most commercial leases are 5 years.
Okay.
But because I'm like I am, and read a lot, it's like, no, I'm not going to give you 5 years. I'll take 3.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to, I will allow you to do the 3% interest, increase, each year.
Yeah.
But that 3% is based on this, and no, my CAMs and everything will not go up.
Okay.
But that was because I sort of seen everybody else make those mistakes. When I did mine, that wasn't an issue for me.
Yeah.
Even though I still had issues, that wasn't one.
So
Wow.
essentially, read the fine line.
Yeah. Yeah. Pay
Those
attention.
little words.
Yes.
They'll get you. They'll get
They
you later.
will for
Yeah.
sure.
Ooh.
So, okay, what truth in the book may offend people?
That's good. That's a good question.
The truth?
Yeah.
I think that the truth of what type of entrepreneur that they are. People don't
The
want
personality,
to,
like you
yeah,
said.
their personality
Yeah.
thing. People don't want to accept it. And in the book, the good thing about it is I talk about being a procrastinator.
Yeah.
But then I go into detail, on why you are a procrastinator. The, signs to show that you fall in that category.
Yeah.
And it's easier for people to say, yeah, I did that about 3 or 4 times. But it's harder for them to say it's a problem versus, but that's not a problem because it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
It's almost like if you want a clean face with no blemishes and there was a little spot there and you just took makeup and put it there and said, but it's not a big deal because it's little, nobody can see it. It's only a big deal if it's all over and everybody can see it.
Yeah.
And so that is one of the biggest truths that people have to accept. Those little things that you feel that's not so big, it turns into big things that affects your business. And sometimes it puts you out of business.
Yeah.
What do you think is the most common, going along with that thought, the most common little thing that people overlook that usually blows up later? What do you think?
The biggest to me
Yeah.
for businesses is always the finance.
I was going to ask
And
her
Yeah.
that.
always.
Oh, really? Oh,
I was
sorry, I didn't mean to
gonna
jump
s-
ahead.
Always.
I was going to say, why do people avoid the bookkeeping structure? Like,
Yeah, it's always the finance.
Yeah.
Why do they
Because-
avoid it, though? That's
Okay, so basically, like in all of the cases, here's the thing. When you work in the corporate world and you work for someone else and they're paying you, it's almost like you feel like you don't have any say-so in that. You just have the say-so of getting there, getting your work done, and collecting your paycheck.
Yeah.
When you go into being an entrepreneur, your attitude shifts. And you hear a lot of people, and anybody that's listening to this, they're going to say, yep, that's exactly right.
yeah.
First thing that comes out of most entrepreneurs' mouth is my business, my way, point blank. Nobody's going to tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to show me how to do it. I'm going to do it my way, and that's it.
Because it's like their baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the attitude that they take.
Yeah.
But successful entrepreneurs always have a lot of different people that they go to.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm thinking about doing this. What is your thing? Oh, well, you can do that, but this might happen. Well, how can I avoid it? And they got that person. Then they have someone else. They have so many different people that they are taking, information from. Like all of the things that you see, and a lot of people look at me as being successful. I didn't get here by myself. I'm sorry to inform you guys, but I did not get here by myself. I have people like her. I have people like you, that I can call and say, hey, Tim, I got this problem. Yeah, I think that this is what you do. We throw around things.
Yeah.
I did not get here by myself.
Without the mistakes, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Without the
With the-
fumbles.
yeah.
She picked the ball
I
back
didn't-
up and kept running, though.
Yes, she did. She had to. She had to.
Exactly.
So I think that that's where the problem lies with
Yeah.
most entrepreneurs, just feeling like it's mine. You're going to do it my
Yeah.
way or the highway. A lot of times those are the ones that have the most problems.
Yeah.
You have to soften that and say, I want to be, successful. Like in the book, I talk about where a lot of people, they want mentors, right? They want, they look up to certain people that are successful. Last week we had a guest on, Mike, right?
Mike Waters.
And, yes, and he is very successful, and I rely on him a lot, right? But you've heard the situations. Like, I'll give you an example. Like back in the day, musicians, when they wanted to make it, they would do a mixtape, then they would go onto the streets, they would sell the mixtape, right?
They promote
and
it.
They
Yep.
and they would promote themselves, and they would just go everywhere, and they just
For a whole dollar.
right? and that's what they did, and it worked for some, and it didn't work for some, right? But here's the issue. A lot of people hear those type of success stories. They hear my success stories.
Yeah.
They hear your success story, and then they try to mimic it. And that worked for me. Doesn't mean that it's going to work for you. Everybody's story is different. And when you have these people out here that are promotional speakers, like they sort of like, they speak and they empower you. They want to empower women, empower men. And everybody wants to get into that arena because they feel like what they have to say is important. It's going to make a difference.
Yeah.
And that's not all the time. That's not the case all of the time. That's their story. And in the book, I bring that out. You read several successful books and their stories on how they did it. But what you got from it was their answer, not the answer.
Exactly.
Because the answer is in you and how you do it. How many times have anyone out there told anyone their ideas on a business and did not get a negative feedback?
Oh, yeah.
You're always going to get that.
Yeah.
Well, if you do that, this is going to happen or that. I don't think you should do it.
Yeah.
Everybody has an opinion about it.
That's why you never tell anyone your goals or
right.
your plans.
Yeah.
Like,
You
just
work
keep
on
it
it,
to
yeah.
yourself.
Just work on it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's one thing that most entrepreneurs have to learn. You know, you can have an excellent idea and you can have a vision on how you want to put it together, you know, and it might work. But more than likely, in order for it to work and take off the way that you want it to take off, you have to involve someone that has expertise in certain areas. And we as entrepreneurs don't want to relinquish that.
Yeah.
They don't want to relinquish that. They say, I'm the boss now, so I want to call all of the shots. I want to do everything. You know, when we moved into this office here, because we were in another office and it was smaller. When we moved here, my staff was, of course, they were happy because now we got a bigger place. It's almost like we moving on up like George and Weezy, right?
Moving on up.
And so, right. And so when it came to decorating, everybody had ideas. Well, no, I think we should do this. Oh, we should do that. And, you know, and so I sat back and I listened to them. And you know what I did? I stepped back and I said, I give it to you guys. Do what you want with it. Now, you've seen this colorful wall, all of this stuff, and I'm like, are y'all sure? You know?
Yeah.
But the fact that they had all of the authority to do whatever they want, the colors, because when they had the gray, I said, gray is not in our logo. But I just said, okay, y'all know what y'all doing. You guys do it. Black walls, none of this was my idea.
Really?
But it was my staff's idea. And it created a comfortable, wonderful family, like laughter type atmosphere.
Yeah.
Everybody that comes in, they click. And if they don't click, then they're not here you know, because that's what we wanted.
Yeah.
But most people will go in and because they're the owner, they do things their way.
Yeah.
You have to include your people.
Yeah.
Make them feel like it's a part of it. And when you do that, there's nothing that they won't do for you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's the old type thing though.
Yeah.
You know, because when you worked for a company, remember when you worked for a company and they gave you, you know, picnics, Christmas dinners and all of that stuff. It was, you don't see that no more.
It's rare. And that's the thing, the businesses that I see that still do it, their people love being part of that group.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel that I'm in one of those groups for like my main job. My girlfriend's in the same thing. I got invited to like a company dinner once and I was like, everybody here is friends. Everybody knows each other. Like, they look out for each other. They they care about one another and they allow them to speak and have a say and affect the business. And it causes this wonderful atmosphere that everyone can grow. And I think it's never just the entrepreneur running everything, coming up with all the ideas. They do rely on their people as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
and
amazing.
You should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should.
I had another question is how to spot a fumble early.
To spot the fumble, again,
whatever's not working.
It goes back to the type of personality that you are. If you learn to like breathe, relax, and release, let it go.
Yeah.
A lot of the fumbles, you know, you will catch. Like, okay, one time, because you're so busy and you're wrapped up into your work, we got a call saying that our electricity was going to get turned off in the business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And So the manager say, hey, they're going to turn off the electricity. I said, just pay the bill. What are you telling me this for?
Mm-hmm.
But when we set this place up, we set everything on automatic.
Ooh.
So I just said, just pay the bill. What are you bothering me for?
Mm-hmm.
So I hear them, and they're on the phone, and they're giving the credit card to pay the bill, right? And so she gives it, and then she gives all of the information. And then I hear them say, oh, it didn't go through. Could you give it to me one more time? You know? And so I'm thinking like, what the electric company, what?
Mm-hmm. That's weird.
And so then I stopped working and I said, wait a minute. Did we get a bill in the mail? And so she said, yeah. And I said, how much is the bill? And she said, it's $61 or something like that. And then I said, how much are you paying? She said, $61. And I said, oh. And I go back to work, and then I'm thinking like, they're not going to turn off no daggone electricity for no one bill. So I get up and I said, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the number. And so then I said, wait a minute. You need to hang up and call NV Energy back.
Mm-hmm.
Something is not right.
Yeah.
And when she did that, it was fraud.
Oh.
But see, a lot of times that's what happens. We're so busy, we forget what we set up.
Mm-hmm.
We just are busy, and then they give you something, you say, yeah, go ahead and do it. Because you just want everything just to flow easily with no mistakes.
Yep.
And we make those mistakes because we're not, we don't take that breath and say, wait a minute. They asked me a question. What's going on? What do I need to do?
Yeah.
We're just quick to say, just fix it and go back to doing our work. We have to learn how to, take those breaths.
Yeah.
When your staff come to you, no matter how busy you are, step back and say, okay, hear them out, hear what the issue is. Make sure that your mind is on whatever it is that they're bringing to your attention.
Mm-hmm.
So that you make the right decision. Because I'm telling you, out of the 10 years, I have constantly told my staff to do stuff. And then when it happened, I'll be like, I didn't tell you to do that. They're like, yeah, you did. So you have to learn how to take a breath.
Yeah.
Take time, and some of the fumbles, it won't happen.
Yeah.
You'll pay attention. Just like I talk about this example in my book, where when they were giving the SBA loans, right? Everybody was doing that. But one of my clients that were busy got a call, and they said that they would fill out all of the paperwork for him and do everything. So that sounds good because I'm busy. They're going to give me the money that I need and all of that stuff. And so he listens to them. He gives them everything that they asked for. And then they call him and they say, well, everything is approved, but right now you have to send us this, $50,000 to guarantee the $200,000 that we're going to give you.
Wow.
Right? And so that sounds legit. So he sends it. And then they come back and say, oh, they need one last payment, and I think he ended up sending them like 100,000 before he realized that it was all fraud.
That's crazy.
Now, why did that happen? Because he was busy. Someone offered him something that sounded good, and he accepted it.
Yeah.
When they offered it to him, if he would have just stepped back and say, okay, what can I do? What can I do? And knowing that it's on the news, it's on the internet, all you got to do, go to SBA, put your information in, upload a few documents, and you don't need anybody to do it for you.
At all.
Yeah.
But he didn't take the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, man,
You know, it sounds like when you have a toddler running around and they're like, Mom, 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 Mom. And you're like, yes, yes. You know, when you're busy,
Oh, yeah.
you know, you're just like, yep, whatever, just hurry up. And you go back to what you're doing. And then they end up falling off the couch or, you know, breaking something. And you're like, and like you said, take a step back and just say, look, what do you need, honey? Like, let me help you.
Yeah.
Right. And we're all so rushed.
Yeah.
So it's easy to do.
Yep.
Like I'm talking about it. It's in my book. But sometimes I still do it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It happens to the best of us.
So, you know, that's just reality. But the more that we talk about it, the more that we are aware of it, the more we can change it.
Yeah.
And the mistake starts to minimize.
Yeah.
You know, it starts to minimize.
Yeah. That's good.
What's the most preventable mistake? Like, I feel like we did touch on this a little bit, but what would be the most preventable mistake in business?
Well,
Preventable, a fumble.
Yeah.
sometimes when we're starting that business, I think that we relinquish trust too quick. But I think it's giving trust to people too quickly.
Yeah.
When I first started, because I'm a trusting person, and I had an old workmate that I trusted, and I left her in charge, and she started contacting all of my clients, taking them.
Just dirty.
I remember
So-
this. I remember the story. Yeah.
And so we trust, or we hire people and we don't have a true job performance, or what they need to do is not clear. We just expect them to know.
Did she just keep your database, or like how did she just had their numbers?
Well, she had access to them because I left her here and I had
And
left.
she just wrote them down and took it.
Yep. She contacted
No,
the
she
clients
called
too.
them.
Yeah, to try
And she had to go to one, and when she went to them, she told them that she would do the work cheaper.
Yeah. So just try to undercut you from.
Yeah.
Just dirty.
and we've had that fumble on here before. We've had, I think the one that stood out to me.
We've had that fumble on here before.
Like specifically, there was
Yeah.
one that still to this day has stood out to me. The taste bud situation with somebody going into a business together with their significant other, and the significant other, while our guest was on vacation or she had to go away for something, she comes back and the entire business was all of the equipment, all of the stuff sold, all of her recipes happened to be copied by another restaurant with a almost exact name. And he had given them everything. And then they also separated at that time too. Like all at once. He was like, oh, by the way, I'm separating. Also, I took all the recipes. Also, I sold all your equipment.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Okay, so was he dating the lady or whoever?
They were
dating.
Yeah, they were like together for like
So he
a
stole
decade
the
or
business.
So. They were together for a while.
That's what happened to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens.
My
That's
business.
So
That's
that
stolen.
would be the biggest fumble because
Yeah.
because
I didn't put him on
right.
the LLC. I trusted, he was my husband. Let's build together.
Right.
And I didn't put him. We didn't have an agreement, like written agreement. If you can't make any decisions without me.
Yeah.
And he took my name off the business.
Crazy.
Took
The
my
exact
name.
same thing.
We need to have you back on another episode.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was saying that.
Yeah, we are. We are. We
Yeah.
have that in the works because she is going to be a guest and tell her story. But we have so many, and you have seen that we spoke to that did that. They
Yeah.
felt like that's my partner. We're married, and they included them, and it became a nightmare when it was time to separate because the husbands usually are not the ones that put together their ideas
At
you
all.
know? Right.
Ever. Not even the
And you
logo.
right. And the women just
We do
automatically
everything, damn it.
and they just automatically add their husbands because it's their husbands.
Yeah.
And in my book, there's a whole chapter, and it's like maybe 4 or 5 different stories
Yeah.
of women doing that exact same thing.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about it is, in the book, it tells the stories, then it bullet points the mistakes,
Yeah.
and then it gives you the solutions to avoid it moving forward.
Wow. That's
you
good.
know, yeah.
Yeah, we need that.
So basically, my next question was, first thing readers should fix is the trust. Trust in people. Fix that right now.
Yeah, they do.
No, in the beginning, like fix
Right.
that. I feel like that would be the answer to that question.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my next question is, we're in the fourth quarter of this, my questions here. Legacy and close. We're going to close here with, who did you write this book for?
So this book is written for all entrepreneurs, old, new, retired. Because I think that someone that's been in business would appreciate the book, because it's going to tell stories that they experienced, that they got through, and now they're retired and life is good, and maybe they'll consider helping others while they're retired, even if it's simply with giving advice or picking up their cameras or their phones and going live and telling a story.
Yeah.
All of that can help. In the last chapter, no, it is the chapter before the last chapter. One thing that I did was I took my time and I really thought about what I wanted them to understand about entrepreneurship. And so there was 2 different things that I talked about. One of them was feeling like you know everything because you've done it. You've experienced it. And because you spent 4 or 5 years building a business, then you feel like you have all of the answers. And you haven't stopped to realize that before you even started, there was someone doing your same business for 10, 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
So they have more answers than you. And sometimes you're not willing to do it with it. So I talk about, and you've heard this story where God would come and drive you, but wanted to hear your problems.
Yeah.
The first thing in that scenario, the first thing you want to do is you want to prove God's wrong, because you done took the route. You know which way to go. You know Las Vegas. You know the streets. He couldn't know a shortcut, because if it was a shortcut, I would have been and took it.
Yeah.
And then when he takes that shortcut and he asks you, how did I get you here? You're not able to give him the answer because you were so worried that he was getting you lost, or he was taking you in the opposite direction that was not going to get you to your job. You missed out on so much information thinking that you knew better than he did. And when you're running a business and you build it and it took you 5 or 6 years and now you're successful, you still don't know everything.
Yeah.
Because again, someone has your same business and they've been doing it 10, 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
They done passed it down to their kids. And you still thinking that you know better. No, you don't.
Yeah.
And that's something that you have to, you have to remember. We had the guests, CMOS, remember?
Yes. Yeah.
And they talked about the train scenario
Yes.
that was in the book. And reading, like when she read that, it touched her so much because she's a entrepreneur. We had her back on because of the issues that she's experiencing now, because the first time they was on here, they
were
had
on a
success.
high. Yeah, they were doing
right.
great.
They were
Yeah.
on the high, but now when they came back, everything was crumbling. The fumbles. They had fumble after fumble after fumble after fumble.
Yeah.
And so her reading that chapter, because I allow her to read that, and it talks about, having a plan, knowing exactly what you're going to do. And everything is mapped up. You know what time you have to leave the house. You know what time you need to be with that. And then you leave your house and bam, you get stopped by a train. And all you see is one car after the other. Frustration builds up. Everything builds up. You even get out the car and looking to see how much further is this train. All you see is cars and cars and cars. And then you see other people backing up, turning around, But you consider doing that, but you already know there's no other shortcut, because it's going to just take you to the other train stop.
Yep.
And you're still going to be waiting.
Yeah.
And so finally, when you see the end, you feel a little relief. You jump back in your car to take off, and the gates are opening, and then all of a sudden it's going right back down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much frustration in that. And when you finally get through, your whole attitude, disposition has changed, because the frustration is so high.
Yep.
And you have to still get to that appointment, perform, sell, do a good job, keep a smile on your face.
Yeah.
You got to do all of that.
And deal with that.
And deal with that whole situation. Right?
Yeah.
That's entrepreneurship every single day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every day.
And until people understand that, that's what it's about. You have to learn how to control those moments. You can't let those moments, stop you from making that sale.
Yeah.
Stop you from doing that job. Stop you from recognizing the mistakes that's headed toward you. And we still do it as humans. When we get upset, it affects us.
Yeah.
It affects our decision making. It affects everything.
Yeah.
And until we realize that and change it, it'll stay the same, But reading this in the book, it's a self-reflection in every single chapter.
Yeah.
Every single chapter that they read, every story that they read, it's a self-reflection.
Yeah.
I did this. Man, exactly the same. I did this.
Yeah.
And how can I avoid it? Avoid it doing it again. So it wants them to, read more so that they can learn, because I break it down. I have a lot of chapters with stories, but then I take a rest from the stories and talk about, some of the things, that you need to do. I talk a lot about that personality trait, learning which one you fall in and what you need to do to change it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
That's very important.
That's crazy.
And I think that brings me back to saying, a business is like your baby. So for the business, you're going to care for that baby. You're going to feed the baby. You're going to love that baby. You got to love your business. You got to it's the same thing. It's the same thing. So,
yeah.
So my next question is, what impact do you want this book to have?
I want it to have a huge impact. I want people to talk about it.
Yeah.
I want people to, listen. Very rarely do anyone write a book and challenge people to prove them wrong. And that's what I want. I want the conversation to start. I don't want it to end.
Yeah.
I want it to start the conversation and increase the length of the conversation when people talk about it. I want people to add to it.
Yeah.
Don't let this be the last book.
Yeah.
Because everybody, story is unique. It's brilliant. It's got something behind it that somebody else can take from.
Yeah.
All the time. If people would share I think that businesses would be different.
Oh, yeah.
But everybody's afraid to share.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of, we talked about that during when you brought up the being taken to work on a route that you already know. Like
Right.
if it was God taking you, would you still question him? We talked about that basically. You can't be afraid to be wrong. And I think a lot of people are afraid to be wrong.
Yeah.
And that's why they hold back from telling their stories.
Like
or from
it's
learning.
embarrassing to them, to some people. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of looking at it like, oh, I could help someone else.
Yeah.
But like you said, once this book drops,
Mm-hmm.
maybe people will be like, oh, I need to go, on Business Fumbles podcast and tell my story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the hope.
And that's what we want.
That's exactly what we want. We would love
We
that.
want any and everybody to sit down, because nobody's story is not worth, hearing.
Yeah.
Because there's a lesson in everything that we face. And, like when you were saying that they're embarrassed, man, if they only knew how, powerful those little stories are.
Yeah.
It brings so much clarity to so many different people, because a lot of times when we're facing things and we're crying about it and we're like, oh, how could this happen to me? And I can't believe it, and I did this and I did that. We assume that we're the only one going through it.
Oh yeah.
When there's a millions probably saying and crying and doing what we're doing at that very moment at the same time.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah. So if you shared it, you would learn that. Like, oh, I'm not alone. I'm not an idiot. This is just normal.
Yeah. Yeah. I think people need that validation.
Yeah.
I think it's very important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So before we close out, I wanted to say first how proud I am of you in your book. And I love, we had some what was it?
There was a lot of issues, right? Like with the book,
but we made it through.
Yeah, because they sent us a lot of covers. Like my first book,
covers.
I self-published.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My first book, I self-published. And this book, I got a publishing company. So when you're working with a publishing company, they send you a variation of different things.
Yeah.
And so we were looking at them, and Shay was like, no, I don't like that. And then she was creating some and sending it to them.
Yeah.
And they was sending her stuff back. And so we had this bouncing back and forth for like 4 days.
Yeah.
And so this book cover is like all of our ideas put in one.
Really? Oh,
actually.
So it's good because we worked as a team to get it done.
Get it done.
So,
right.
Yes,
and actually, since we're talking about that, the book that you guys are looking at is not going to be the book that's in stores.
This is just
because
tentative.
the publishing company, they sort of make choices, and that's why even when you hire people, you still need to be involved.
Yes.
Because had I not be involved, this big book
it's a textbook.
It's like a textbook.
Yeah.
It would be in stores.
Yeah.
But because they sent me the first copy, and I'm like, what is going on? Am I being punked?
Yeah.
Well, I don't understand this.
Yeah.
And so Shay got back with them and said, no, this is not going to work.
We need
you
a
need
6x9.
this.
Yeah.
Right.
We need a 6x9.
Right. And so the book will drop March 1st. It has already been redone. And once I get my copies, of course, I will share it with you guys. I'm so excited.
Yes.
It will be in hardcover, soft cover. It will also be in audio, and it will be on all platforms all around the world.
That's amazing.
Perfect. That's
Yes.
awesome.
So, but I still wanted to say something.
Oh, okay.
So earlier you were saying how society is like, we're really like not high on, but mental health is like really at a peak right now, right?
Yeah.
So I was just, as you were talking, I was just thinking like Business Fumbles, like businesses should have therapy, right?
Yeah.
Businesses should have therapy. And I feel like you're building that community. You might not have a PhD, D being a doctor or whatever,
Yeah,
being a psychiatrist or whatever. but I feel like when they do come and sit down with you, that is therapy.
Yeah.
And then for you to say the CMOS business, they came back, and that's like, it's like they came back for another session of therapy, and then what do? They leave with clarity.
Yeah.
So I love that you're building a community, and I hope that more businesses come together and come to you and tell their stories so that they can help others as well.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I mean, what do you think about that? I think
that what you said is absolutely what Business Fumble is all about.
Yeah.
Because when they read it, like I said, they see themselves in it. They see that, hey, they made that mistake and I made that mistake. It can be someone that just started off and they buy my book and then they see, man, I did all of those same things, so I'm headed in the same direction.
Yeah.
At that point, they can make a change and say, man, that's value. And I want people that read the book and buy the book and everything, I want them to see the value in it. I don't want, with my first book, I had good sales. But of course, it came from people that I know.
Yeah.
My family,
You want the world
and
to
everybody
see
was
this.
pushing it.
Yeah.
This right here, I put more time in it. We've been working with the publishing company since they accepted it for what, like a month and a half.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. I know what I want this to do, and I know that if someone buy it, that they will have value.
Yeah.
They will have a lot of value. Before we end, I just want to read one little piece that's in the last chapter that they're reading and what it says, right? In the last chapter, it says, if you have made it to this chapter, I want you to pause. Not because the journey is over, but because what comes next requires honesty. Everything you read up to this point was intentional. Every story, every mistake, every collapse, every comeback. These were not fictional warnings or aggregated cases studies. They were real people, real businesses, real consequences. And in many of these stories, one decision, sometimes made in minutes, altered the course of their entire life.
Wow. That's powerful.
So this is why, I did this book. It's clarity. It's clear.
Yeah.
I didn't put a lot of, big words or to prove that, hey, I know this, I'm so smart or whatever. No, the way that this book is written, a child can read it and understand what I'm saying. And it gives a clear message that this is, running this business and doing this is true fumbles like football.
Yeah.
Because when they're playing that football and they fumble it, they're trying their hardest
To get it back. Yeah.
They're catching it or whatever, they fumble it or whatever. They're trying their best to get it back.
Yeah.
People, that's entrepreneurship. Gotta fumble it, get it back, and keep going. And there's no guarantee that the next time they throw you the ball, you're not gonna fumble it.
Yeah.
No guarantees.
Yeah. Well,
Because fumbles are a part of life.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Dang. Well, Miss Sheila, thank you so much again for letting us put you in the hot seat today and to get to talk to you about your book. Shay, thank you so much for helping me host this episode.
You're welcome.
It
was an honor.
Oh, yeah. It was a privilege to have you on. We hope to have you come back again.
For sure. I will be here.
All right. We look forward to that. And before we go, I know we're at our time right now. We do want to remind everyone, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Business Fumbles. We hope you were able to take something from this. We hope you're interested in the book and you take the time to check it out. Again, it'll be available on all platforms. And please like, subscribe, share the video, help promote this, and help others to see that we want their stories. We want their businesses. We want the mistakes that they make to be talked about on here. We want everyone to be able to benefit from what we're doing here. And I'm going to rip your line, Sheila. As we always said, the reason why we want this is because education, knowledge, experience, if it's not shared, what value is there? So please come back, tune in again next week, and we'll have another episode, and we look forward to that.
Yeah. And make sure you let them know that this is all free of cost. Because I did have someone ask if they could come on the podcast and how much it would be.
Yes, of course.
So I think that we need to make that clear when we're ending it, that this is all free. We want to hear
it's
your
free
story.
therapy, y'all.
I don't think we've ever said that before. Yeah. And by the way, coming on as a guest, we do not charge for that.
Yes.
Please. We would like you to come for fun, for education, for knowledge's sake, to please tell your stories. So we appreciate.
So it's basically like free therapy, y'all.
Literally. It's literally business therapy is what we're doing. But again, thank you, everyone. Hope you guys are safe. Hope you guys tune in next week and have a great time.
Thank you.